Hello, everyone. I'm live, it says.
You're live. You're gonna go live in three, 2, and you're live.
Okay. Supposedly, I am live now. So, hey, everybody, it's Mandy Morris here. I wanted to jump on and kind of tell you guys a story and share some information, but I want to wait just a second for folks to jump on because I can't see when folks are jumping on here. So, I'm going to give it just a minute. And I imagine that I will be told if I cannot be seen or heard, but I'm just going to mess around for a second while everybody jumps on. I wish I could see your guys' comments on this thing because then it's just so much more fun. But that's okay. So, hi. Okay, y'all. So I wanted to share, don't have my phone. So I wanted to share something really exciting to y'all because it's been consistently exciting for me. This is something that I have perfected over the years, really. And I wanted to invite each of you to this experience. Now, it is starting, this experience is starting in just a few days' time. So there will be some action steps for sure if this resonates. But how do you know if something resonates unless you're really kind of sitting in this space? And to my team who is watching, if you could bring me my phone, it is charging in another room. I do not have it, so if I need to be looking at comments, I can't because I don't have it with me. But I would love to actually answer some of the questions as you guys post them up, so it'd be fantastic to be able to see those. So I wanted to come on live today to talk to you guys about this program that I have, and it is surrounding, although this sounds maybe a little confusing at first, love and authenticity. What the heck is that? What program would that be? And so it's our practitioner program that Authentic Living has. Now, whether you want to be a coach, whether you are a therapist right now, a counselor, psychiatrist, whatever it is, does not matter. You'll still want to listen to this because this is one of the most in-depth growth-oriented programs I have, and I built it in such a way that even if you are a mom or a dad or a nurse or a real estate agent or a teacher, or you just want to heal your family, you want to heal yourself, this program is still for you. Because I personally believe that all of us are here to serve the world. And we don't all have to be a coach or a therapist or a counselor of some sort. We might just need to be the greatest version of us in whatever it is that we're currently doing so that we can serve the world in those beautiful ways. So with that being said, I wanted to share with you guys because I've never really gone on. We always fill up our classes in our private groups, and I'm ready to expand past that. I'm ready to share this more with the world so that anyone who maybe needs the ping, maybe you need the push into that direction to step into more of this work. And this work is not, again, specific to being any type of a coach or whether you're in that. I have a lot of therapists that go through my programs and they add it to their current practice and so forth. But also anybody who is experiencing or if you always want to experience a huge level of growth, if you can feel that something is knocking, if you see that something about your family dynamics or your relationship with your parents or with your children or at work or anything, if it is not looking exactly the way that you want it to look, this program could very well fill in the gaps. And so I felt like, you know what? I want to share it with you guys. I want to explain a little bit of what's possible. Yes, of course, I'm going to go into the coaching piece because we have some unbelievably incredible and successful practitioners out there in the world doing amazing things. But it may, also may also just be for you in different realms. So this class starts on Friday. So I want to make sure that you guys do hear all of these details now and that we get to talk about it, and then stay till the end because I'll throw up a really cool video where you can feel the essence and the energy behind what this program does for people because it's simply incredible. So the Love and Authenticity Practitioner Certification Program, many folks can go towards certification. Many folks also, if they choose not to, then they don't have to be certified and they can just get all of the goods and the information. I always say this though, if you are going to use the certification route, it is not a diploma mill. I will make you grow. It is an incredible program. You have accountability partners. It is a live class. I have mentors and people who have graduated from these programs that are serving in that group. I'm in there doing live Q&As to ensure that you guys are shifting or as and if you work on your family members or your clients, that you are for sure 100% getting the shifts as well and getting to the root, which is what I'm known for. So let's backtrack. Why do I even have this program? Why would you want to learn from good old Mandy Morris? So backtracking, probably a whole life, but we'll start smack dab in the middle. I was working on psychosomatic illnesses. You guys know this story a little bit. In case it's new to you, though, I worked is a strong word, informally researched. I was not paid for this. We were researching. And that we were doing informal research on my ability to impact and shift the root of psychosomatic illnesses. Now, I could tell you a million stories around that, and I could geek out for days because it's really freaking cool. But to be specific to what I want to share with you all, that was where this methodology was birthed in a lot of ways. Although I was doing some things prior, in what I would call like a communication methodology, where I would just sit and talk with someone and find the root of their pain, find the root of, if it was psychosomatic illness, find the root of, that. And I won't talk too much about psychosomatic, but specific to getting to the roots of things, that was something that I was known for. And so while doing this work, soon after, a university had approached me and said, "You've had a lot of psychiatric nurses and doctors and scientists talking about what you're doing, and it's a little impressive, to say the least. And it's, how are you doing this?" And all this stuff. And I had my reasons, as to why that was happening. But this university asked if I'd like to create a program that would go into their school of psychology, and I decided against that. I don't know why. If you guys know anything about me, though, you know that I make all decisions in the highest good of all, and I have to honor the way that I feel. And it didn't feel right for whatever reason. And I actually remember kind of kicking and screaming, if you will, kind of putting my feet in the sand on creating this program that now thousands of people are all around the globe teaching and sharing and healing and just doing unbelievable things with. But at first I was like, well, I don't even know how to teach what I do because it was so intuitive. I didn't learn from anyone. That's something people ask me sometimes, like, who'd you learn from? I don't know. I mean, of course, a compilation of collections of life, but I never sat there and studied what I teach specifically. Yes, I have degrees. I ended up dropping out of my PhD. I realized more education was not for me, but I couldn't really say. So I was like, I don't know how to teach this either, because it came out of me and it was so intuitive. So anyhow, that was a limiting belief that I was able to shift and reverse engineer, thanks to my team and my husband. And we reverse engineered exactly what I was doing and created a program around it. Now, what I noticed, what was so incredible about this program and the way that I wanted it to be built, because my belief is, even if you're going to go out and coach, be a therapist, whatever it is, I have so many amazing therapists that I train or I help, or, whatever that is. Everybody should always be growing. If you are so blessed to be in the self-help, self-healing, self-development world, then you should never stop growing. I know that I'm always growing. Now, my problems are fantastic problems to have nowadays, but I'm always expanding like the universe. That's what I believe. And that's what I so choose. And that's, what I teach my practitioners and I teach my students as well, is we're never going to be a finished product unless we're dead, right? Unless you reach enlightenment or something like that. And then you probably just start the whole gamut over again. And so a huge part of the program is growth, is personal growth. You experiencing, and this brings me into a huge piece that I unfortunately have heard now is missing in a lot of programs that they have found in mine, is embodiment. Giving someone the gift of embodiment. And embodiment means that you are housing the energy, the mental state, I call it the frequency. You are housing the frequency in which somebody seeks. So as a mother, I house the frequency of what I want my children, or I hope my children will become in this world, in the sense of them loving themselves, knowing they can speak their truth, knowing to see when something is bad. I have to house it. I can't just say it. I have to show it, right? Now we take that into the rest of our walks of life, whether it's with our family or as a coach, as a therapist, as a psychiatrist. I've had psychiatrists go through this program as well, and all say the same thing. They're like, I can embody a whole new level of energy, and it shifts my patient or my client or my kids or my mom or my sister so fast. It's almost eerie. People who have used to have coworker issues, they're like, such a toxic work environment. It shifts so much after this program. because you are learning how to embody a frequency that you can then give to others, which is the fastest way to shift someone. Instead of playing the mind game and digging through 10,000 traumas and issues, which by all means, there are techniques involved in the program around that, but let's have some fun with it. Let's make it faster. Let's get results faster so that we can see that this is something we want to continue to do and continue to grow through and jump into our mind and further heal and so forth. And so playing that energy game, but you are embodying an energy that is so incredible and so palpable as you learn to do it in amazing ways. And this is one of the things actually that I was asked clinically. Many of you know the story where they would say, what is this energy that's coming off of you, Mandy? And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. But then I sat there and I thought about it. And I was like, every time before I have someone come in that I'm working with, this was one of the few times where I was able to do one-on-one work. I moved on to groups so quickly. But these months that we were doing this, I was like, I can feel that as soon as that one person walks in the room, I have this unbelievable, compassionate, unconditional love for them. I see them as so whole that there's nothing wrong. Now, that sounds really like, okay, cool. Like, that's amazing. That sounds like, what monks know how to do. And that's how they heal people so fast. But we can all house this for ourselves and for our family, for our loved ones, for our work environments, for our clients, for our patients. And it does unbelievable things in the healing process, y'all. It's absolutely incredible. So the gift of embodiment is a huge piece of what this program is about, which is why I'm so passionate about it, because if everyone was walking around in the embodiment of the frequency, not just saying it, right? You can just say, you can fake it till you make it. No, it doesn't work, right? Obviously it doesn't work or we'd all be there. We need to embody the frequency in which we seek, embody the frequency and give it to others so that there's an authenticity to the shift in which we are giving. Again, whatever walk of life it is, it doesn't have to be, in our work per se. But I know for myself, when I'm embodying the frequency properly for my family, our home is so harmonious. My children it's just amazing to watch. And when you can gift that to other people, it's freaking amazing. So anyways, let's jump into a little bit of, I wanted to share just a few. Now, I told you we've got thousands of practitioners in over 60 plus countries now. 60 plus freaking countries. Oh, that's so cool. And they're in every walk of life. So we've got business coaches, we've got psychiatrists, child psychiatrists, counselors of all sorts, addiction, trauma, PTSD, you name it. This program is actually now being utilized for first responders. That was huge for me. That was like oh my gosh, we're in the therapeutic world in this way. So just so many different walks of life, life coaches, health coaches, you name it. And then again, as I said, real estate agents, nurses. We actually had some doctors who have gone through the program, moms and dads, just everything. But anyways, I wanted to share specific to coaching a little bit, but also some pieces. And these are some of the coaches that I have trained and now hire for Authentic Living. They're some of the mentors in which, if you jump into this program on Friday with me, that you will also be able to experience. If you were in the 8 Secrets, if you were in my book, you saw the virtual event that we did. We did this huge, incredible event celebrating the very successful release of the book. And I had some of them talking and you guys were shifting like crazy if you were, in there. But I wanted to say with this, and I want to share this piece, but these folks have done healing in different areas of their life. So I'll talk through all of that, but specific to, coaching a wee bit, if you will. And some of them I'll change the names on details if I jump around too much. And so I wanted to share just a few. So one of the amazing individuals that I have been blessed to certify, not just in this program that is starting on Friday, but actually a second tier to it. She is now one of Authentic Living's mentors for tons of our programs. I call on her to teach different business pieces to our groups. She's just a phenomenal soul. Since she started with Authentic Living and this program, she has gone on to do a TEDx talk. She is a #1 best-selling author 2 times in a row, or 2 different books. I'm forgetting. I brag. I feel like I'm bragging about my children, even though, they're my friends, of course, as well now. But I'm like, I brag like a child, like they're my kids. And she has well over a 6-figure business. And that's important. It's amazing to, give your gifts, but also receive for them. And she's just killing it in life. She's amazing. An amazing soul, and so much healing in her own self, activating her spiritual gifts and just shining in the world. And then another one of my gals, she is actually one of the gals that I partnered with for the first responders programs. Her husband is a firefighter. And it was such an incredible experience there. And she had actually found me and started this program, the Love and Authenticity Practitioner Certification Program, back, oh man, both of those gals, 5 years, I think, 2017, yeah. So 5-ish years. And she was actually in the middle of divorce. And through the program, I ended up being like, can you please serve our people and work for Authentic Living? She's like, absolutely. Again, amazing gifts, and ended up healing that relationship. And they're married again, beautifully so, in a completely different relationship. She's been able to fix so many different things that were going on in her body. And I'll spare the details of that right now for the sake of not getting censored. And she has gone on to also author a best-selling book, and she's got tons in the woodworks as well. And so I could go on and on and on, and I kind of want to touch on a few different, not just people, but just certain accomplishments. Multiple TEDx talks from lots of different people, lots of authoring of books, some incredible books out there in the world, speaking on summits. Obviously, being featured on radio shows and TV shows, and just on and on and on. One of my child psychiatrists that I had trained, she's amazing. She went on to create a whole academy based around, of course, her background in psychology, but also everything that she had learned, and realized that through this program was the missing pieces needed, and created a huge academy for coaches, which has been just killing it. And now she works in different corporate settings, helping corporations become more productive. As you can see, I could go on and on and on, but for some cool reason, I can attest that this program that I'm talking about right here sparked so much of that success for all these incredible souls. And it's just amazing. It's just so amazing, because to me, that's the ripple effect and effect. That's one of the biggest whys when I got out of my head and stopped thinking so egotistically, honestly, that, well, what if someone can't do it like me? Well, that's not the freaking point, Mandy. This is about activating all of the gifts in individuals so that they can be the greatest version of themselves, and through the ripple effect, serve everyone else in their beautiful, authentic way, but with the foundation laid out for them. That's the magic of it. And that's where everybody becomes their authentic self, and the world drastically improves, because everyone is healed. They're healing others, even if it's just by your frequency, by embodying a frequency of just healedness that it radiates outwardly, or you go out and you attempt to, and you choose to, and you serve in that process. The world becomes such a beautiful place. And honestly, all the folks who go through this program, even though they're like, I don't want to be a coach, I just knew that the program, for some reason, I just was like pulled to it. I knew it was an intuitive thing. I had to do it. Sometimes they end up becoming a coach, or they go on, get their master's and become a therapist or something, like, or they're a counselor, or whatever it is. You never know. You never know where the universe is going to shove you, right? So be open-minded at least. So anyways, a couple little, success stories, or I guess we could call them like case studies, but I hope that you guys see, and you're starting to see, that the world right now, where it's at, all of us, many of us are already, of course, stepping up, and this is not to remotely create a sense of shame, but we all need to be the greatest version of ourselves for so many reasons beyond us manifesting our own perfect life and blah, blah, blah. That's beautiful and all. And that is an absolute byproduct of shining your light. But we all need to be ignited, and we need to be fanning each other's flames, because right now is such an incredible, I'm going off on like a soapbox tangent here, but it's such a pivotal time. It really is. I know that that's happened many times over. And of course, every moment is technically a moment to completely change your life. This feels like such an incredible time to do. I didn't have a community to help me change my life. I didn't have a community to help me help others. I just figured it out. And it took me a lot longer, which is why I created programs, because I was like, let me condense the time frame for everybody else so we can all be up and running together. And that's what we need right now, is community, growth, accountability, which kind of comes into, the community, and the willingness and the path on how to shine our light. Because there are reasons that we're not doing so. There are reasons that our lives look the way they do. My hair looks crazy. I look like my dog right now. There are reasons that we haven't fully stepped in our life. There were certainly reasons for me. Most of mine was imposter syndrome, fear of failure, fear of success, depending on the thing, fear of being alone, fear of people thinking that I was better than them. I mean, you name it. I fit the bill at some point. And I had to work through each of those. But those are actually really natural things that come up when your soul knows that you're about to plunge into something amazing, where you might not be able to turn back in the best way, that you are going to change and shift in such a way that your eyes are open and you cannot go back to sleep again. And that's what the world needs. That's certainly what I needed. That's what I do for people now. And I think that if you're listening to this, then obviously it's something that you're looking for too, right? So anyways, let me make sure if you guys don't have any questions. Hi, Jean. Mindy's programs are life-changing. So post up questions as I'm talking, and I will go through them. So let's go through as I choke. So the program is going over all the things I said, but let's like break it down a little bit more simplistically. We're going over the mind, the emotions, and the core of ourselves. The core is the root. Again, that was something I was known for, is how do you get to the root? And let me tell y'all, the root is sometimes the craziest of things. I tell this story actually in my book, The 8 Secrets. Here it is. But I tell this story, I'll condense it a little bit. But when I was doing the psychosomatic work, there was a gal who came in and her heart was having a whole bunch of issues. And unfortunately, if she didn't rectify it, she would not make it. And they called me in, and we knew that her heart problem was in fact psychosomatic. And after I talked to her, we didn't speak the same language, so I had a translator. So it took a little bit longer. It took me like 4 hours. But after we talked, for a while, we realized now she had suffered a very bad trauma in her teens. You would think that would be the thing, but it was not. She had a really good therapist. She did the trauma work. She was okay there. So, and we had her hooked up to a bunch of machinery, by the way, so that we knew, not just me going intuitively, but I was, of course, saying exactly what the machine was saying. Turned out, long story short, her root, the reason that her heart was doing all these funky things was because her mother had terminal cancer. She was going to pass away in the next couple months, her mother, and she wanted to die with her mother because her mother was the only form of unconditional love that she had ever known. And so somewhere buried in her subconscious, she decided if mom isn't here and there is no love, then what's the point? That's how crazy the roots are, y'all. So you can imagine me doing that multiple times a day for months at a time in a clinical setting. I learned some things about how crazy cool and crazy weird our minds are sometimes. So a piece of the program is going into the mind, understanding, those core roots. And then, of course, emotions, using emotions to our advantage to create what we want instead of be a victim to them. Because one of the biggest reasons we don't have the life we want is because we keep getting triggered by the past. Whether we can understand it's the past or not, we're pulling it. This hair is so weird and it's driving me crazy. We keep pulling it into the now, reliving it, and it creates an incredible dose of emotions, which would then be, or really, chicken or the egg, I swapped that. The neurohormones that get released that then impact our vibration even further, impact our mental state, impact our health, impact everything. We have to understand our emotions, how our mind plays a role in it, and then what needs to be rewired with love. Operative piece. One of the biggest pieces. This is what just about every single, I can't say every, I haven't met every therapist that's gone through my program, but just about every person who's been in the mental health field has told me that this is the missing link in therapy. My program is. And I think one of the reasons, at least, is because we're teaching how to embody unconditional love. I get that sounds so woo-woo and silly and stuff. It is not, y'all. It is so unbelievably, vitally important to getting people out of the chair. That's what I call it. Get someone out of the chair. Someone shouldn't be 30 years in a therapy chair rehashing the same shit. That is absolutely ridiculous and is not needed at all. We should be able to, and we can, with love, because love is what removes the shame, the guilt, the frustration, the pain, the trauma of it usually. And then we can move it into a space of healing. My fingers are cold. I can't snap very well. There we go. The left side's warmer. So having said that, jumping into the program, it is a 4-month program. It is a wild, wild ride. I always say that. It is really and truly incredible. You are so supported. I don't know. A lot of people say I've never been so supported in my life. I've never gone through a program where I felt so cared for. I was so taken care of, and I grew so much. And you never know what's going to be on the other side of that. Like anytime where I'm stepping through a massive amount of growth, I'm like, I don't even know what's going to be on the other side other than something amazing. Like, what an incredible feeling that you are almost, as long as you're willing to do the work, obviously, it's not like here, everything's handed to you. It's all done. You're going to have to dig in. You're going to have to, understand some things about yourself. We're going to get triggered. We're going to lean into it. We're going to, heal it and understand it in a whole different way. But it is freaking amazing. Truly is. Truly, truly is. Okay, so questions. And I have a little thing written here. I just want to make sure that I go over everything. Okay, feel free to post up your questions. I'll make sure that I didn't miss any pieces as well in what I want to share with you all as we are talking. Okay, so I'm just going to read all the ones because a lot of the coaches are actually on here. Hi, Joanne. Richard says, amazing course, life-changing. I recommend to all. Richard is an amazing, amazing coach and healer. Hi, Mandy. Hello. Good morning. Hi, everyone. Making sure I'm just looking for any question marks here. Okay, here's another one of my coaches. Do it. Even if you don't plan to coach the world. This LAP program changed everything in the relationships with my family in a very intimate level. No more yelling, less anger, language to teach my kids in an authentic way. Thank you. Okay, let's see. What else? Yes, first responders should definitely know your work. Thank you. It's been so cool to even see. So we're actually working with, probably shouldn't spill too many beans, but we're actually working with moving it into the county we're in now, because right now it's being utilized in northern Colorado. And it has been the coolest thing watching, first responders and the individuals that we need the approval for to be able to get into these spaces. And they're so open. You'd think that people wouldn't be so open because, it's like, oh, this love and authenticity thing. No, I mean, of course, really what we're doing is trauma work in many pieces of the program. But we're doing it in such an incredible way. Fun probably isn't the word that most people would use, but trauma work to me is fun now because it's so incredible when you see them on the other side. When you heal the trauma, that's just fun. Okay, no. Oh no, I missed that. I've been filming in an HBO movie, so I missed some stuff. I remember this, Monica. Well, welcome back, and so excited to see the movie. To piggyback on what someone else said, not only all that and more become available to not only you and those who surround you. If you're looking to shift your life and those of others beyond what you could even comprehend, it's amazing. Okay, you guys can just do this for me, right? Can I just pull all of my students on? That's what I should have done. Have to hop off. We'll be recording here. Yes, I will leave this recording up, and maybe we'll even be able to email it out if you guys are, if you get my emails. You are a beam of light. Thank you. Thank you. Mandy's programs are life-changing. Another one of my coaches. I know a lot of them. I do know. I'm always in the group, so I'm always looking at their names. Hello, lovely you. You know what I just got in my hand? Your book, and one for a good friend. I'm so excited and thankful. Thank you. Okay. Can you explain the experience of an instant shift? Okay, such a good question. Thank you for that, Richard. So we have 3 different types of shifts that we typically do in this program, and 3 different types of shifts that we all experience. So one is instantaneous. It's kind of like my fun one. One is assimilation, and one is accumulation. So an instantaneous shift, these are the ones that we kind of like get a high off of, if you will. It's where you're working with someone and all of a sudden you see the moment that everything changes. It's like, remember these moments, if you ever had one, where something just washes over you and you're like, oh, I get it now. And it's almost, I call it like a cellular shift, like down to a cellular level. Your energy has just rapidly shifted. So an instantaneous shift. And then there is assimilation shift. And this is based on how people are wired. And this was such a cool lesson for me to learn because I wanted everyone to be instantaneous. I remember learning this actually. My very first event, I was Mandy Morris, helping men heal. So it was all men in the group. This one guy came in and he pretty much kept his sunglasses on the whole time. And I was like, gosh, that's odd. And of course I can't read him. I don't, and I'm sitting there and he was quiet the whole event, like very quiet compared to the rest of the group. Everyone else is like, slapping hands and we're all, shooting the shit and joking around and growing and healing and crying and all this, this beautiful stuff. And he's pretty quiet. Months later, and I remember, sorry, backtrack. I remember thinking, oh my God, he didn't get the instantaneous shift because that was the only shift in my mind that I deemed acceptable. That's how hard I was on myself. And I was like, he didn't get the shift. Like, okay, we need to refund his money. We need, this is ridiculous, all this stuff. And he reached out and he was like, I just want you to know that I was going to kill myself. And I came to that, this makes me cry. And I was, that was my last, shot, was going to this event and seeing if it made life worth living. I still talk to him, and he is doing freaking phenomenal and just living the life of his dreams. And he grew out his hair, and he has a little, he's just, yeah. Anyways, so that's where these shifts came from, where I was like, oh my gosh, this guy needed to assimilate. He needed to soak in the energy, and now moving into accumulation, because he was both. And then he needed to pick up little things here and there because he was super left brain. He was a molecular biologist. Molecular geneticist. He was a couple things. He was very, very left brain, super smart, super cool guy. Funny enough, super heart-centered once he cracked that heart back open, as always, right? And excuse me. And sorry, I was just thinking on his energy. And he did all these amazing pieces. And so he pulled in all of this information, and then boom, had the shift. So sometimes it's, I need to take in this information, I need to marinate on it, I need to assimilate, or I need to accumulate information or energy, and then I will decide if it is safe enough to shift. But sometimes those instantaneous is like whoosh, done. And we teach how to do all of those. Okay. Oh, I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling. Any chance you come to Laguna and do a seminar here? I do miss Laguna, but our heartland is so amazing. But never say never. The beach is always calling. Okay. I'm not seeing all of the comments, I don't believe, but I will try. One more question. Can you explain how getting to a root can affect other things, the branches and the fruits? Yes. Thank you again. So one of the biggest pieces, you heard me talk about the root, right? We want to get to the root. We want to pull that sucker out at the root. But what I've noticed, and this is not to shame or make anything else not sound as incredible, but it's just what I noticed, and I wanted to fill that gap in this world that I'm in, was that a lot of situations, and I did this most of my life, is that we're working on the branches. We're working on the symptoms of the root problems in which we have. So for example, like whenever someone, I always say this, when someone comes to me and they're like, Mandy, I have money problems, help me with money. And then we're talking. I'm like, so tell me about your dad. They're like, my dad has nothing to do with my money issues. And I'm like, actually, totally does. So let's talk about it. So the root can be in the weirdest of places, but I imagine it like this. My husband used this analogy and I love it, so I'm stealing it. If you have a headache, you're probably going to, if you do something symptomatic, if you treat the symptom, you're going to take an aspirin, right? Something like that. I don't know, painkiller. You're usually going to try to get rid of the pain as quickly as possible, right? But you're treating the symptom. Now, if we went backwards and said, why do we have the headache in the first place? There may be multiple reasons. Usually there's one, but there could be many reasons, right? It could be that you're dehydrated. It could be that you're lacking a certain nutrient or something. It could be like super stressed out, but there is a root. So if it was as simple as us just going and drinking 2 more glasses a day of water and we wouldn't have headaches, therefore wouldn't need to take some type of a medicine that's probably going to slowly destroy our body anyways, then we're no longer treating the symptoms. We're not hacking away at the branches. We're going to the root. If you imagine a tree, we're going to the root or pulling the whole sucker out. So there's no branches, no fruits can be created from it. And everything that is a symptomatic response, which there's many branches to one root, right? There could be many things that happen. You could have that headache, at the root is drink some water or deal with, whatever it is. But the branches are, I'm taking aspirin. I'm yelling at my spouse because I'm frustrated. I think I have a brain tumor. So now I'm getting even more stressed out and I'm releasing cortisol, which is causing other health problems. Whatever all that stuff is, all of that is gone. So you don't need to sit there and go, well, let me treat each little fear. Let me treat each little thing that's showing up in my life one by one, because by the time you turn around, another branch has grown itself, because it doesn't go away unless you get to the root. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, let's see. Therapy never helped me, but your book has in 2 weeks' time. Thank you. You're helping me give my son's 16-year-old the tools to a better life. That is such, I can't say it enough, y'all. For those of you who know me, like children is such an important piece to, funny enough, I don't work with children, but making children's lives better, or, child abuse, all that are huge things of mine. And whenever I watch and I get to work with, or I see, or I hear from one of my coaches that they worked with a parent and their relationship with their family is changing, or their relationship with their children is changing, or they got themselves out of an abusive situation and their children are seeing them love themselves and heal. And it's just, I cannot explain what that does for me personally. That's one of those times where I'm like, this is why I do what I do, because we're stopping the pain before it even has to start. Like, my thing is, I don't ever want to have to meet your children unless they're just rocking and rolling in life. I don't want to meet your children 20 years from now because they have issues that you didn't heal, and then they brought it forth. No shame, no guilt. No matter what, I know my kids are going to come with some type of programming that I gave them. That's okay. They're equipped. I have equipped them with what to do and how to deal with that, right? Or I will continue to as they get older. But it is so cool to say they're not going to have to deal with the same things that we had to deal with, because we finally squashed it and got new tools, and then through embodiment showed our children what that looks like to exercise those tools and to be the greatest version of us. And whatever generational stuff, it stops with us. Ooh, gets me. Okay. Okay, I think that's it, y'all. So with that being said, to round off everything, if you have not seen, I'm actually going to play a cute little commercial at the end here. Just so you know, it's going to show the live in-person portion as well. But this program can be done completely virtually, and it has a virtual event. So do not worry. Whether we have coaches, like I said, in over 60 countries, not all of them are able to come in person at all. That is okay. The program is just as powerful, just as impactful, just as everything that I hope that it feels like for you. But I'm going to play that in a second. But just to kind of bring all of this back together, I wanted to talk to you guys about this today because I know where the world is going, and I think it's going to be a really beautiful place. But I also know that it's a free will universe, and where we direct our consciousness and how we choose to show up is going to decipher the reality that we personally live in, the hologram, if you will, that we create, and what we can give to the world from there. So I invite you all, if any part of anything that I've said that has resonated, to look at the information. I'm going to have it posted above. I'll probably pin it to the comments below. I know you guys can see the link as well. It is a coaching certification program, but it is so much more than that. And again, so many people, if you go on our website, you can see some of the coaches. Plenty of them are not listed because not all of them became coaches. They did it for themselves. They eventually went on to do something incredible for the world, because that's kind of like, my personal rule MO, and you can't help it. When you experience such a huge shift and your life changes so much, or you see that happening in other people, you want to continue to share it. It's like the secret that you can't keep a secret. You have to give it to the world. That's at least what happened with me. When I started growing and applying, this program, what's in my book, all that stuff, I was like, there's no way in the heck I can keep this to myself. I could totally have done something other than teaching and still lived a radically amazing life. But I felt like I have such a duty to this because I think I was given it because I was willing to teach it. And so I'm here in front of you, pinging you guys, pinging your souls that this could be the start of a completely different reality. This could be the start of enhancing your reality if it's already amazing. If you want to give to other people and you don't know how, but you've got, for me, if I'm not serving, I feel totally dead inside. It's just how I'm wired. So if you're one of those helper personalities, or if you just want to be a really good coach or therapist and make money, that's okay, whatever it is. But if this is pinging you and your intuition, your heart, your whatever it is saying this is something I'd want to do, I so strongly invite you to go to that link, the8secrets.com/purpose. You do have to talk to one of our enrollment advisors because we make sure that it is a mutual fit. I want to make sure that you're walking out there being the incredible version of you, and that you are willing to do the work, because it does take work, but it is probably the easiest environment to be in to do the work because there is so much love and support. Again, I didn't have that. So it was a really important piece to me creating in all of the things I teach is how cool would it be to have a community, because I didn't have that other than Oliver. My husband's amazing. We're pretty much each other's coach, but I want to be able to create that for the world. And so I invite you all to reach out, use that link, and you'll fill out a form. And then one of our enrollment advisors, most likely Candace or Jennifer, which by the way, they are both certified in this exact program. They are now coaches and they're incredible souls, and they can see if it's a fit for you, and no pressure either way. Okay. That is it, I believe. And in case no one's told you today, love you.
Hey, it's Mandy here. So you're thinking about joining the Love and Authenticity Practitioner Certification, and I'm here to lovingly shove you towards it. It is such an incredible program. It's personal growth, it's learning how to serve others, and ultimately to serve the world. I've seen that when people embody unconditional love, which is really at the foundation of this program, amazing things happen. Results happen so quickly for clients or patients or family members, and you're growing through that process too. You have the tools that give you the confidence to go forth into the world. You realize that you are so worthy of receiving for your gifts.
Mandy embodies authenticity. For me, I want to follow somebody who models what this is all about. It keeps me going on my path when I can see someone who really lives this way and how wonderful it can be. It encourages me that I can live that way too. I think it's a combination of depth and breadth with Mandy. What I really appreciated is all of the science behind the methodology, the neuroscience, how the brain functions. So there is absolutely a scientific component to why this methodology helps people shift, why it helps them shift maybe quicker than other modalities. I also think the unique piece is the energetic component. You get such an integrated experience in a short period of time where you can truly be up and running and coaching, within 8 to 10 weeks of learning the framework. This is my third time coming to the Heartland. We're on sacred land, and I definitely feel a sense of support and almost like I'm getting a big energetic hug when I step on the land. I think the other piece is connecting with the other individuals who are here at the same time. My relationships have grown and increased because I've had this in-person experience.
This is where people come to receive healing, understanding, answers to questions they felt stuck about forever, healing when they've sat in therapy for years, and every time they leave transformed in some beautiful way. It's 30 acres. There are natural vortexes, medicine wheels. We have labyrinths. Depending on the time of the year, you might see beautiful, huge snowflakes falling down. You'll be able to visit the Heartland chickens. You'll see tons of wildlife, or you'll stargaze at night. We also have rivers and lakes and millions of acres of national forest just across the street for you to explore in.
The whole point of plant-based, especially when you're doing energy work, is that you want something that's as neutral as possible, something that is going to digest very easily in the body without interrupting any type of flow. I'm not just trying to give you something that's going to nourish your body, but I really want to give you something that's going to nourish your soul through organic food, local whenever possible, as well as with my practice of herbalism. I really try to bring all of it in so that you can really taste all of the earth's flora and connect to what you're consuming.
The experience that you have here on the Heartland is like nothing else. On the fence about the program. What we'll say as soon as you jump into the program is light versus heavy, love versus fear. If you can make that decision from a place that feels light, that's not coming from fear. And let me tell you right now, I had all of those fears, thinking that who am I to serve the world? What do I know? What do I have to give? I'm an unfinished masterpiece myself.
Are you ready to shift yourself? Because you got to do that first before you shift anybody else. If you're not ready to shift yourself, then the timing isn't right. That's what I would say. It's affected my friendships, my parenting in a positive way, how I approach my work on a daily basis. I can't even separate it now. These models and these ideas are such a part of me, and they're driving how I live my life. It's just in me now, and that's incredible.
Something really amazing happens when you realize that you've healed. You don't have things to go back into. Your limiting beliefs start dwindling away. You reach pure potential. You realize that life can look completely different than it does now. And the beautiful thing about embodiment is that you give that to others. And in case no one has told you today, I love you.